Hey, hello, and thanks for watching this video. Um, of course, when I start and press the record button, I have to burp. So my apologies if you heard that. You know what? I was thinking about making another pickup video because it's been a while. It's been a while. The last time I actually made one of these might have been last year about some NES games that I have picked up and. I don't know which game was it again. I think we had like Kickmaster. What's the horror game called? It's like a weird looking NES game. I actually forgot. Monster House? No, House Monster. The Mansion Monster? I don't know, man. Some of those NES games are kind of weird. But you know what? This video is not about NES games. It's actually about some other consoles as well. Because my main collection. For those who don't know, I focus on NES, Super Nintendo, Nintendo 64, a little bit of GameCube. So in short, it's actually about the Nintendo games themselves. Um, but in the last half year or year or so, I've been actually kind of looking around and seeing, okay, what else is there to actually collect, and what else do I actually want. I do have like a small PS1 collection, NTSC. For the Nintendo consoles, GameCube. GameCube is Paul, and the rest is NTSC. It's just a weird habit from the past. We were used to play some NTSC games, and we know how the 60, or I know how the 60 hertz feels. So with those consoles, I rather have like an NTSC copy than a PAL version, because the NTSC copy is the best. If you're used to NTSC, if you have grown up with PAL, okay, let's not talk about that. That's a whole different video. But I've been actually looking at. Okay, the NES is NTSC. Yes, I'm actually gonna go there. But it's kind of tricky to find those games over here, like in the Netherlands. A couple months ago, there was this game event in a city. I was gonna say Zwolle. That's actually the name of that city. And I did find a couple I didn't buy, but I did see some Super Nintendo NTSC games. But those were like super expensive. And I did find a PlayStation 1 NTSC game, Spider-Man, actually. This video, I didn't want to show that game because it's already like over there. But yeah, it's a rare occurrence to find NTSC games. So I was thinking, well, what console could I also collect for that's actually a little bit more maintainable and collectible and more reasonable? Because with the NTSC games, like either I have to stumble upon them with a little bit of luck, or I do have to find them on eBay. And importing from the eBay, I think we all have noticed that those prices, shipping costs have gone up. Like for even a small game that's cost maybe like $15, I either have to pay like $30 or 45 with tax and whatnot. And it's like, yeah, this is not fun anymore. So I started to think about like other consoles to collect for. I did have, or had, had a small PlayStation 2 collection that was small. I still do have that collection though, but that collection has gone, or has gone up a little bit in the amount of games that I own. Same goes for PlayStation 3, and another console is the Xbox 360. And I've been focusing on collecting for the Wii. Now I have not made any videos about my Wii collection. I could make a video if there's some interest in the games that I do have now for the Wii. But long story short, I started collecting some games for other consoles. That's it. And I just wanted to show some recent pickups from this week. No, not just this week. This month. This month, and mostly from the last 2 weeks or so. You order things online, and suddenly everything arrives on the same day. I don't know how that happens. But let's just start. Like, I don't want to put any gameplay video on here because that definitely takes a lot of time. So don't expect that, but I will try my best to maybe explain why I actually bought the game instead of like, oh, I saw the price go up. Because for most of these games, either I'm actually really interested in playing them, or maybe just looking at them from a research standpoint. That sounds super serious, but no. Sometimes it's just like, oh, I actually want to explore the gameplay a little bit, and maybe maybe I get some ideas from that because I try to make some video games as well besides my main job, and that's because that's why the other videos that I've uploaded as well. But I make games, but I also play them, and games are just super fun. Let's just start because I actually have a whole stack over here of video games that I do want to show and talk a little bit about. And you know what? There's no time limit. But let's just start with this one. This is actually one that I didn't purchase new, but I actually have it replaced right now. So I do own 2 copies of them. And now you might ask why. I started collecting Wii games, and because it's actually a wonderful console. There's a lot of shovelware and there's a lot of like those cheaper games. But if you look at the first party Nintendo titles and some of the third party titles, there's actually like a decent amount of like quality games on there. Now you might say, well, the Mario and Sonic and the Olympic games is maybe not like the best game out there. Well, yes and no. I think it's decent, but I actually just collected it because it's a Nintendo title, because that's one of the collections that I was actually focusing on, and I was collecting all the first party Nintendo titles. And I actually finished that collection. But why did I buy this? Oh my god. For one simple reason. The one of the spines was a little bit of sun faded, and with the yellowing it just stood out too much. This is horrible. Why am I actually recording in this and creating this footage that showcases like how much of an idiot I am? But the other one actually looked very good, and I got it for a decent price. Okay, I got it for a decent price, and my goal is to actually sell this one, of course. Like, I don't want to have any duplicates, and I will probably sell it for the same price that I bought the other one, or maybe with we'll probably try my best to sell it for the same price at least, so I do get my money back and I do end up with the better copy. And the disc was actually fine in the original copy that I had. But there's always this case like, okay, the manual is actually better, or the Wii games actually have like the VIP codes. The contents were the same, so there was a little bit of gamble, and again the price was just very nice. So that's actually the only Wii game that I actually want to show. I'm just really happy that the spine actually looks good. Yeah, it stood out. Trust me, it actually stood out, and it bothered me every day for a couple months. Another game that actually, why am I saying actually that much? I picked up Tomb Raider for the PlayStation 3. Now, I'm not a big PlayStation 3 collector, but I do want to try and collect all the classics HD games. So I do own the Ratchet & Clank one, the Jak and Daxter one, the Metal Gear Solid one. I already owned that in my collection for many years, bought that at launch because it's Metal Gear. And I didn't have this one, and I think I paid around like 10 or 12 euros for it, which is like a decent deal if you ask me. It has like Tomb Raider Legend, Tomb Raider Underworld, and Tomb Raider Anniversary. Is Underworld not... No, that was Angel of Darkness, like the bad Tomb Raider game. But it is still like 3 games, and so far as I know, the HD classics are fairly decent. I actually do have the God of War collections, like both of them. Um, yeah, they're very decent and pretty good. There are just a couple more that I need. You do have like the Shadow of the Colossus and the collection, and the Splinter Cell one, and Silent Hill, the Silent Hill one. I actually passed it up a couple months ago. It had a decent price, but I was like, you know what, could probably collect it later. And I think the price is actually going up a little bit. Um, two 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 two. These videos are not about the prices going up. I will mention it, but this is not like, okay, you're gonna miss out on this. Like, buy it now. Like, no. Again, I am buying these games because I do want to play them, or yeah, just super interested in actually experiencing them. So yeah, another one about experiencing them is Dark Souls Prepare to Die edition for the Xbox 360. Now, to me, it's they are all complete and in a good state, so I'm not gonna show that. To me, this is not one because you know, the Prepare to Die editions. I kind of think about like the newer consoles, and it actually came out on. I think I said actual again. Um, so I thought they were more like the newer generations, like Xbox One and such, but never knew that they came out on the 360 as well. There are a lot of different variants or variations of the Dark Souls game. So you do have this one, you do have like the normal one, Dark Souls. Then you have Dark Souls 2, but you still have like the what's the one? The Dark Souls 2. The oh man, I mentioned the name a couple hours ago to someone. It starts with an S. You know, the fancy one. The better. Is it better? The other version. But there's, you know, to make my point short, there are quite a few different versions. And I didn't own this one yet, and I did wanted it to, you know, did want to. I did want to add it to my collection. You know what I mean. The other thing though about this one is that I want to collect all the From Software titles for the Xbox 360, and after this one, I only need one more, and I'm actually very happy about it. I heard the word that I just said. What's the I'm trying to come up with the name for that other Dark Souls game. Fire? Nope, that's not it. That's not it. For the From Software titles, you know, if someone is interested in that, I could make a video of all the Xbox 360 From Software titles. I think some of them are just simply published by them and not all made by them. But I do, if the box says From Software, I want it because I like From Software, and I just think it's a very fascinating publisher and studio. Speaking of fascinating, and that is Thor on the Xbox 360, the God of Thunder. Battles Thor commanding massive storm powers and wielding his legendary hammer Mjolnir. Thunder across the North worlds to save Asgard, smashing colossal foes from the Thor universe. So, Thor, never played it, but I am trying to look around the Marvel games on the Xbox 360, and you know, this is one of them. And a thing that I noticed is that most of the Marvel games are published by Sega. Not that it really matters though, but it's just like, okay, most of the games are pretty decent. I remember from when that game came out that the reception wasn't that good, And one of the things that I noticed with the Xbox 360 while starting to collect for it is that most of the games, yeah, they're not that great, but they have become a little bit more decent because there are just simply not that many games out there of that genre. Like the character action games, like, yeah, there are some of them, but not a lot. And sometimes you just want something simple. And I think this is probably, I only play like an hour or so, a very simple character action game. And yeah, when it came out, you were used to play like the Devil May Cry games and such. Like, yeah, of course you would compare to that or compare to God of War, and then yeah, Thor is maybe like below on the list, but in a how would you call it? Maybe in a vacuum, it's like decent. It looks actually good, and I do want to play it. It doesn't feel that good. It doesn't feel bad. It doesn't feel bad at all. And that's the fun thing with the Xbox 360. Picking up some games that maybe didn't get received well in the past, and just looking at them, from a new perspective, a new frame, a new mindset. Yeah, honestly, they are decent games. Maybe not if you paid full price for them. That would be a different story. But worth checking out. Worth checking out. Thor, I think the Wolverine game is better. Um, the Origins one. Well, speaking of, yeah, this is not character action, but there's a lot of action involved in Turtles: Danger of the Ooze. This is a game that I've been looking at for quite a while because there's also a 3DS version game. I do own it, and sometimes it's kind of compared to a Metroidvania like and light, and it's a Turtles. It looks a little. It looks okay. It looks okay. Check out some footage. Look at it on the YouTube. Um, I think it looks okay. I'm not expecting like much from it, um, but it doesn't look bad as well. Well, I'm really selling these games. I'm really am. But I was looking for this game for quite a while because what I've played of it on the 3DS, it felt good. But I also wanted to own the Xbox 360 version, which I own right now, but I don't see it that often. And that's the thing with the Activision games. Like, either they got delisted or maybe a low print number. I don't know what actually happened with the Activision games. The games published by Activision back then. I do have a couple more that I want to show. But yeah, man, I don't see it that often. The price is fairly decent, but it's just difficult to find. Don't think it's like a rare game, but it's quite uncommon. It's quite uncommon. If you search for it on eBay, you will probably get some hits, but not a lot. Not a lot. As I mentioned earlier, for the Wii games, I was collecting all the first party Wii games. The first party, Nintendo games, and I finished up that collection. And there are still some third party games that I want, but those are like somewhat low on the list. So I was thinking about, okay, what else is there that I do want to collect? And want to just research a little bit, like, okay, what is actually fun? And I stumbled upon a little handheld called a Nintendo 3DS. I already owned a couple of games, so it was just like, okay, let's just see what else is out there. And I picked up this game that's Paper Mario Sticker Star. There you go. It's not the only Mario game that I own for the 3DS. Like, I do own a couple of games, but just showing a recent pickup. Got it for a decent price. That's the thing that actually stands out to me. Is like the Paper Mario games and the Mario Luigi games. Like, they're decently priced for the 3DS. I think To me, like a couple years ago, maybe when that store closed, like all the prices went up crazy, and that's the time that I didn't pay any attention at all to the 3DS. But right now, I think prices has have gone down, and um, when I compare to something like the GameCube, I'm like, oh, this is a decent price. For example, the Paper Mario game, I paid it maybe €12 for it, and maybe it's not the best Paper Mario game, but again, it's a decent. It's still a decent game, and the quality is still there. And for €12, I will definitely enjoy it. So why not? There are quite a few 3DS games, for the first party. Like I made a whole list. Like, okay, these are all the Nintendo titles, and some of them like are also published by Nintendo, but not made by like the internal studios. It's a long list. It's a long list. Can I actually pull it up? I'm not gonna show it, but I'm just no. I can't. I can't actually pull it up. I can pull it up because I have phone over here. Oh my god, technology. Buy game. Games. DDT Live 3DS. Live Excel Research. Okay, thanks. It closed. DDT 3DS. So the amount of games that is actually on the list right here, and I do need to check if this list is correct. But no, 120 games. I was gonna say 70. I might have miscounted before. I thought there were less games, but you know what? It's all about the journey, not the destination. Or is it about the destination and the journey, and not the journey? No, it's about the journey. It's in the end, maybe I do have like 120 3DS games. Um, it's a lot. There are quite a few expensive 3DS games that I'm not necessarily interested in. So right now I do have like that whole list of 120 Nintendo first party or published by Nintendo games. But I'm just looking at it like, okay, these are actually games that are interesting to me, and maybe once I see those for like a very good price, I will buy them. It's the Yokai Watch, like the third one, and what's the football game called? The Inazuma. I don't know what is the name. I'm not gonna check the list, man. I'm not. I'm not gonna do that. There are just a couple games that are just expensive, and I've actually not decided yet if I want to have like a complete like 3DS collection, complete in the sense of like the first party titles that I just mentioned, not like everything else. Um, but just trying to buy the ones that I want to play and am interested in. There. Um, was I actually trying to make a point? No, there's just a lot of games to collect, and it keeps on going. But the 3DS seemed kind of obvious. You might ask, like, okay, why are you not doing or collecting for the GameCube? Because that's actually one of the Nintendo collections that you mentioned. GameCube is just expensive, man. It's just expensive, and I'm enjoying that journey. But I hit I think with the GameCube, it's either some games that I don't want to play, and it would be fun to own them, like Finding Nemo. Yes, fantastic. But for that console, for the first party, if I am gonna focus on something, it would be first party. It's gonna be the Pokemon, the Pokemon, the Guild of Darkness. Oh man, that's gonna haunt me. Someday maybe. But that's the one that's is standing in my way, and the baseball game, the Mario baseball game, not not sure about the title. The baseball game with Mario and Donkey Kong. That one. Um, and I still need Mario Golf. I keep seeing it. I'm like, no, I can wait. I can wait. I can wait. It's Mario Golf. Would like to play it, but I not in a rush. Not in a rush with the GameCube. Not in a rush. Speaking of rushing, nope. Transformers. I got the Transformers, the Dark Spark. That's the name of the game. Again, it's an Activision title. I was looking around for it. The Dark Spark, I don't see it that often, and I do like Transformers. I don't collect Transformer figures or anything, but I just like Transformers from the past because I watched the cartoon a lot. And I do have the War for Cybertron and Fall of Cybertron games already. And I was like, what else is there on the Xbox 360? So I'm trying to actually collect all the Transformer games. I think that you might actually notice from this pickup video is that I'm really trying to hone in some like the smaller sub collections. Like, okay, this is a range of games that I actually enjoy. Let's collect for that instead of just saying, okay, I'm gonna collect for the Xbox 360, and that means like I'm gonna collect all the games. Yeah, maybe at some point, but I really like to try and focus on just a range, a sub collection. Kind of helps out with the habit of, just buying everything like randomly, and just focusing on looking deals for those certain games. And it's kind of nice to cross that off the list as well, because I make an Excel and put the games in there, and just seeing that, I'm slowly making some progress in collecting video games, making progress. I don't know. That sounds a little bit odd, but I hope you know what I mean. I like focusing on sub collections and collecting in that way. It helps. It helps. Speaking of sub collections, Transformers. This is Transformers Revenge of the Fallen. Now, I believe that the Dark Spark is considered as a good game. It's not mind blowing as the War for Cybertron and the Fall of Cybertron. Now with Revenge of the Fallen, I think we're getting a little bit more in the territory of like, it's don't expect like high quality, and they're mostly based on the like those movies, and it's okay. It's okay. Again, Activision, to me, often I hear like, yeah, these games are not that great, but when I look like at the gameplay footage and how the games are actually built, they interest me. Like they truly do, and I do want to check them out. Also from the sense of that you do have that War for Cybertron and the Fall of Cybertron. Like those games look fantastic. Made by High Moon Studios. Is it High Moon Studios? And then you do have like those other ones. They're like, yeah, of course, not everything can be of that quality. And with these games, it's just interesting to compare those two. Like, okay, what they actually did, and then seeing like how these play. The ones based on the movies and the different designs, because I think they're all over the place with the designs of like, is it actually Optimus Prime? Like, is this actually Optimus Prime on the front? I don't know, man. But the designs are so different enough, and that fascinates me. And that makes me really want to play them. And I do think some of them play the same or have the same, like the third person like action setup, so they play the same, but they might feel a little bit different from each other. And from a gameplay perspective or like game development, it's just nice to kind of see and look a little bit like, okay, what is actually so different that makes the other game like stand out more than the other one. Um, so you need to compare them. So why not get Transformers Dark of the Moon as well? Um, Now, the thing that I actually need to find out though, I've never played this one. This one does say High Moon Studios, so I don't know which form. Like maybe they actually developed it, but I rarely see this game mentioned. And also, this game is quite difficult to find. The Dark Spark is getting more rarer. The Revenge of the Fallen is like you do see that one like all the time. But Dark of the Moon, I don't know. I don't know. Revel Megatron's plan to unleash the ultimate Decepticon, Assassin Shockwave. Harness the power of Stealth Force and engage in epic vehicle. That's not correct. Combat. Play both sides as the iconic Autobot and the Decepticon Transformer characters. Okay. Again, the gameplay looks all right. So curious to check that out. Based on the thing that I previously mentioned, that it's just fascinating to check those all out. So that means I do own Transformer Devastation, Fall of Cybertron, War of Cybertron, or is it actually War for Cybertron? The one of the good ones. I think there's one or two more Transformer games. Maybe just Transformers the game. I think that one got ported as well to the 360. Or that is actually like that is a PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360 title. But yeah, I think I need two more for a complete sub collection, a Transformer, the movie, the game, the sub collection. Finally, this is actually the man. I don't know why I say actually that much. I don't know. Another console that I started to collect for as well, and I did have a decent sizable collection for that console, maybe around like 20 games or so, 25. It's a PlayStation 2. I don't know why I wasn't collecting for the PlayStation 2. I did collect for the PlayStation 1. Mostly, I do think that's mostly because of the overlap between like the common games on the GameCube that were also then on the PlayStation 2, like for example Splinter Cell or Prince of Persia. So that is why I was maybe focusing more on the GameCube and getting those games on there. Of course, like the PlayStation 2 have like the Grand Theft Autos and the Gran Turismos. But it has some weird games on it. Some oddities, and I love it. So I created a couple of sub collections that I do want to collect for. Not that many. Like I don't want to have like the casual games. Although there are some odd ones in there as well. For example, like the Scarface game. It's weird. It's like an alternate storyline. I don't know. I need to play it. But for the PlayStation 2, can I actually name the sub collections that I want to collect for and am collecting for. The oddities. That's just some of the weird games like Scarface. There are a couple of Marvel games like Ghost Rider, The Punisher. Is there a Blade game? I don't know. I don't know. There might be a couple of other Marvel games on the PlayStation 2. But those are, the Ghost Rider actually do have that one because it's like a character action game. I want to collect those as well. So character action games. There are quite a few on there. Ninja games. Yes, the games that feature ninjas. I think it's just fascinating how we had a ton of video games on the PlayStation 1 and of course on the Super Nintendo, but PlayStation 1 and PlayStation 2, there's something about the samurais and the ninjas. There are quite a few games, and I do want to collect those. Mostly the Tenchu games. I do own both of them on the PlayStation 2 and on the PlayStation 1 and also on the 360 because it's a From Software title. Yes, Tenchu C is From Software. Who knew? So yeah, Nia games, that's a category. And of course, the horror games. I do want to collect like the horror games on the PlayStation 2 because there are not a lot of horror games on the GameCube. I actually almost did it again. Just one, and that's Eternal Darkness, correct? Is there only one horror game on the GameCube and it's Eternal Darkness? Is that true? What? Yeah, so there's only the GameCube doesn't have a ton of horror games, but the PlayStation 2 does. And what I like about the PlayStation 2 and with horror games is that something about the PlayStation 2, maybe it's the in the PlayStation 1, the horror games are also fantastic because of like the low resolution and it looks grimy as hell. But with the PlayStation 2, you do get that griminess, you do get that lower resolution, although a little bit higher. It looks a little bit cleaner, but there's still something about that combination, but also with the added texture work, like it looks a little bit more realistic, which makes it appear so freaky. The horror games on the PlayStation 2, I think it's just a combination of like the technology and then the games themselves, just visually, that is like, mwah, love it. It looks so good. And I think it's a cell that's has been replicated or has been tried to be replicated on like more like newer hardware to make it like low res, but for obvious reasons, because it works. I just love the look of like Silent Hill 2, 3, and 4 on the PlayStation 2. It's wonderful. So the horror games. So what did I actually say? Some character action, Marvel game, ninja game, horror game, and maybe some PlayStation 2 exclusives. So speaking of ninja games, that's actually I promise in the next video there won't be any mention of the word actually. Shinobi-Do, Way of the Ninja. I got this one. It looked very similar to Tenchu. As I mentioned before, I do have like both Tenchu games. And Shinobi-Do apparently has a very odd game structure. Like you go out on missions and such. But I just like the visual style and how the character actually moved and what you could do. Yeah, I like these type of games and stealth games. The weird thing though is that I don't like stealth games that much, but I do like them in this setting. I liked stealthing around with Sekiro, for example, and when I was younger, I'm playing like Tenchu on the PlayStation 1. Something like Splinter Cell, yeah, maybe Bananas much, But with this one, you know, with the the thematically, is that a word? It kind of works for me. So yes, Shinobi though, um, yeah, it looks very good. Played a little bit to check it out, and it seemed like a very fun game. So those are the pickups thus far for the last couple 2 or 3 weeks. There are some other games that I do want to show on you know, a later moment. But I was thinking, you know, these are the games that I do want to show off right now. Yeah, and let me know if you like this video, and if I need to make more of these pickup videos. Like I like doing them, and actually sharing the progress that I make for the collection. Um, yeah, so what we could do is actually what we could do is maybe in the next video that I show some of the From Software collection, because that's actually, oh my god, I really need to stop doing that. From the PlayStation 2, I've got one important sub collection, and that's From Software, baby. And it's not gonna be fun. But you know, it's about a wise person once said it's about the journey, not the destination. I hope that's correct. No, the From Software. There are some cheap games on the PlayStation 2 made by From Software. You know, cheap on the current market prices. But there's also some that are expensive, and you know what? They are also horror games. Yes, so good luck with that. But I could show my From Software collection, either just the 360 or you know, everything that I own. Again, man, I think From Software is super fascinating as a studio and publisher, and yeah, I just want to see like where it all started, and where you can see like, okay, here they actually experimented with that, and that's something that you see more in like later games or stuff like that. I love it. I love it. You know what else I love? Collecting video games. So you know, I will keep going, and maybe see you next time if you know, people like this video. You know, it's just me showing my collection and what I picked up. Is there anything else that is important? Yes. If you are watching this and you're thinking about, and you have watched the, what's the name again? The making a Zelda-like prototyping Construct 3. There haven't been many videos recently, just one a couple weeks ago. Still working on it, but little by little. There's so little progress that it's definitely not worth it to record a whole video about it and showing the progress, because the progress is like very slim. So if you want to know, you know, I'm trying to make a Zelda-like game in a tool called Construct 3. And I've recorded some videos to show the progress of that. But you know, work has been busy, and recording the videos doesn't take that much time. What does take time is the game development. It's just super tricky. So I'm kind of waiting for a good opportunity to continue working on it again. I think also there's a little bit of like creativity block going on, where there are just too many things that I could do and have to work on that are quite time intensive, like the visual art or like maybe some audio design. And I'm not in the mood to work on some visual stuff right now. That doesn't help either. But just saying that you know, it will continue at one point. But please have patience, and just know it's not cancelled or anything. It's just a prototype. It's just a prototype. But I also do have to continue working on Horizon Danger, which is actually a game that I'm making. It's just not a prototype, but it's a full-fledged game. There was a live stream 2 months ago. You can find like a video in the video list thingy. There was a live stream on Twitch. We played some Horizon Danger, which is a local multiplayer action game with a cosmic horror type setting. It's somewhat similar to Samurai Gun or Towerfall. It's just a game that you can play on a couch with a couple of friends and fight against each other with cool mechs and throw bombs. That's the short pitch. So if you're curious what I actually do, what I do as a hobby, it's making games. It's my job as well. It's a hobby job. It's a hobby job, but not my main job. So that's something that I have to continue working on as well. Almost summer vacation, and that means full-time game development to some extent. So I expect maybe some more news about that, or no, there's no news in the coming months about that. If you just want to see what I'm making, check that video, the live stream. Again, let me know if you found this video interesting, and if you do want to hear more about the sub collections that I collect for, or the current state of some sub collections, I could talk about it. Could talk about it for days, because I love it. See you all later. Thanks for watching, and have a nice day. Have a nice day. Bye. Bye.